biggest talking point I saw out of this stuff from Friday is the revelation. It seems that we have our first big clue to who done it was Jade Cargill,
Mm.
because Nick Aldis called Bianca and Naomi into his office, and he showed the footage of Liv and Raquel walking away, and Bianca and Naomi immediately was like, "It was them. I knew it was them all along." And Nick's just looking around like, "Well, wait a minute. I never said it was them."
Hmm.
But she was like, "No, no, look, they're there." And so there's two ways to look at this. Maybe it's them, but that would be an awful anticlimactic ending to this.
Yeah.
To just get to this point and it's just Liv and Raquel that did it. I have to assume if Liv and Raquel did it, they would have been gloating about this all this time. I don't buy this at all. I feel like this is obviously a red herring, which leads me to believe, because Naomi was like, "See, I didn't do it," and she immediately was like, "See, y'all owe me an apology." This is the first time in all of this that I kind of believe Bianca did it.
Mm. Hmm. Bianca did it. Hmm. I might be under the impression of nobody did it and Jade's tricking everybody because it makes more sense for Jade to be healed, though. You know what I mean?
That was my initial thought when this first happened. I was like, "Oh, I don't think anybody did this. I think
Right.
Jade is playing everybody. I think Jade did the thin line between love and hate. She injured
Yes.
herself, and nobody did it. This is Jade turning heel, and it could still be that. But there's
Mhm.
certain things that are happening here that it makes me feel like Bianca did it. I'm not sure, but I think the fact that it's still in question is so interesting.
I like
We
that
still
turn if she did do it. You know what I mean? Because like I think that adds an extra element to interesting element to Bianca.
yes, but man, because I personally I think a Bianca heel turn would be great.
Yeah, me
But
too.
this was the first time watching this that I thought, okay, there's a good chance Bianca could have done this. But there's still so much we don't know with the Jade stuff. We don't know when she's going to be ready to come back.
Hmm.
I thought it would be at Royal Rumble,
Me
didn't show
too.
up at Royal Rumble, but now, man, there's still so many questions around this. Of course, everybody is still on poor Naomi. They're like, no, Naomi did this, but I just don't know, man. I don't know if I buy Naomi turning heel. I think there's a bigger chance of either Bianca and Jade turning.
Same here. Yeah, I think it makes sense for one or the other two, Jade or Bianca, to do it over Naomi. And Naomi, the place that she's playing in the story leads me to believe that too.
Yes. Because it's always kind of been between Bianca and Jade.
Right. Mhm.
We've said from the beginning, if this is the big three comparison, Naomi is J. Cole. This has always
Mhm.
been about those two. He's just
Exactly.
in the middle.
Hmm. Hmm. But on the flip side, Naomi benefited from Jade being out. She got the championship. Like they're telling a good story for you to believe that she could have done it.
Yes. I think the idea of Bianca being a heel is very interesting. They're also doing this interesting thing with Rhea, where I thought that Io versus Rhea was going to be the WrestleMania match, but
Hmm.
they made the announcement that Io is going to be getting the match after Elimination Chamber with Rhea, which
Hmm.
is a choice. Um, so that brings into question: is Io versus Rhea still going to be the WrestleMania match? And if that's not the WrestleMania match, what is? And now, if Jade's not ready and Bianca is revealed as the person that did this,
She can
you
go
can
in as
do
a heel. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can do Rhea versus Bianca at WrestleMania.
Hmm. And that's heat
Yes, I feel like that's the bigger match. That's the match we've been trying to get to
for a
for
couple
almost two
years.
years at this point
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
And so I get it, but I don't know, man. Personally, like I said, I would love a Bianca heel turn. I'm just not so sure they're gonna pull the trigger on it, especially with the way she's used. She just feels like one of those baby faces right now where they're making so much money on. They're
Hmm.
doing all the PR and stuff around her. So I'm not sure if I buy it, but personally, just how good she worked as a heel on NXT, I would like to see it on the main roster.
Yeah, I feel like they need to try something out with her one time at least. You know what I mean? To to see how the water goes. And I just think she would play such a great character. But I totally understand if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do the Rhea and Bianca match, though, she has to be a heel at this point because
I agree.
Rhea's insanely over. I don't see people cheering Bianca over Rhea at this point. I think you gotta make a change. And personally, for my taste, I would prefer to see Io versus Rhea at WrestleMania. But they've been trying to get to this match for so long. I wouldn't be surprised if this is where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Shucky Ducky sends in a super chat. He says Raquel and Liv teased on Royal Rumble watch along that it was them.
I know. It just that just feels so anticlimactic to have this thing lingering for so long, and it was just them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a boring ending.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same as one of the other two turning. You know what I mean? Like that. That feels like a longer term story to tell. Like it is just kind of over if it's like Liv and Raquel did it. All right. And then she comes back and they beat him and then it doesn't really matter, you know?
Yeah, I do think we're going to get the tag match, and I would not be surprised at all if Raquel and Liv beat them for the tag belts because it just feels like this lines up. There's so many things you can do with Liv and Raquel as a tag team. Even if you're getting to the Alexa match, you can do Alexa with a partner versus them. I personally think it should be Nikki Cross because what is Nikki Cross doing anyway? Just put that tag team back together.
There's a lot of ways they could go for the women's matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Very surprising that they've dragged this out as long as it did. But it feels like it's going to play into WrestleMania in some way. It has to, right?
I would think so. It thinks like they've been telling it for so long. They want to have something good for Jade unless she's going to be out beyond that. But it feels like that's what this is.
If it doesn't lead to Jade's return before that, it has to play into whatever Bianca's doing at WrestleMania, if I had to guess.
Right. Yeah. What about Naomi? You think that they'll just leave her out, or do you think that this could lead to a tag title match still?
That I'm not sure of. I'm very curious as to how these women's mid-card titles are going to figure into WrestleMania season because it feels like you could have something there. I think the clear option is to have Naomi versus Chelsea by then.